He was having a Big Mac the night before the race, and I'm like, man, this is so wrong on so many levels.
I actually was a bit weird as a kid. I liked stuff that other kids didn't like. For example, like spinach. And I remember that I hated like pasta, which was tough for my mom. Because I mean, I guess pasta is easy to make for kids. Once I started triathlon, everyone told me, yeah, as an endurance athlete, you have to eat pasta. So.
What do you reckon? Cheddar or mozzarella?
Let's go for cheddar. It's better.
Start with the other pan.
Yeah. I'll just cut the mushrooms.
Got any guilty pleasures?
Well, I'd say the classic pizza, but actually I try to turn guilty pleasures just into pleasures.
I feel like guilty and food is quite an old school concept. In cycling, it used to almost be weak to drink. 20, 30 years ago, the guys would ride out with like a 500 ml bidon and then they come back with a full thing because it was weak to drink. What would be your dying meal if you could only choose one from now on?
Wow. Actually, I'd also say pizza, because you can have so much variety in there. I mean, if it wouldn't always be the exact same pizza. So, yeah. How about you?
If I only had one thing, I reckon I'm half made of peanut butter and toast. Yeah. Like a good sourdough bread.
Fair point. Fair point.
Butter and peanut butter 1-to-1 in the ratio, and then like a good jam. Yeah, I'll go with that. Like one of the first ever races I did, one of the guys, like one of the big idols at the time, he was having a Big Mac. But it kind of made me realize that it doesn't really matter for tomorrow, but it matters for down the line.
Yeah, as you said, you can get away with it in the early stage of your career, but yeah, if you want to have a long-term career, I think you really have to nail all this stuff as well.
The night before a race, what do you go?
For me, it's just plain rice, but since I couldn't get enough down on it, I add some cereals and some honey, so it's really sweet.
Proper cereal, like Fruit Loops.
Yeah, Fruit Loops, yeah, exactly. The ones with the least amount of fat possible.
The least amount of fat?
Yeah.
You do low fat? I'm not sure we can be friends. I race on happiness, man. I need fat the night before.
Really? Even the days before, I try to cut out vegetables and just have, as much carbs as possible.
I used to do the same thing before the Olympics and just eat like rice and lettuce and fill myself up on sparkling water. But that theory sort of changed a little bit, and certainly not the most healthy. May I just present just in between, no recipe omelette, rocked by my man Mika and I. We got it going.
Okay.
There we go. My dad was always kind of like a leading figure in my life just because of his values and where he is. But if I'd have to go with athletes, I'd probably go with Haile Gebrselassie, simply because he was the guy around the turn of the millennium who was running, but whenever he was suffering, he was smiling. And I feel like with that, it made it so much harder for everyone else, even because he looked like he was actually loving what he was doing.
You were like one of my great role models, obviously. Like I started triathlon when I was 13, so in 2013. Okay. Basically, I followed your long distance career once you made the switch from the start. I still remember the race in Hamburg, the mixed relay. And then next thing you progressed to the longer distances. I guess we're pretty much at the very opposite sides of the spectrum, but still, I guess, sharing the same passion. My journey is actually, hopefully, just at the beginning. Actually, reality just hit me hard 4 weeks ago when I had a bike crash, and all my plans went up in the air. Yeah, dealing with setbacks, I guess, is going to be a challenge.
I think dealing with setbacks and how you deal with them is probably like the key part to having a successful career, because they're coming no matter what. Something will go wrong, and the less you find yourself in self-pity and the more proactive you find yourself is probably the best. it's part of the journey, and I think part of building you up.
Do you see yourself still doing some some events? I wouldn't say race, but events in once you're like retired from professional sports?
For sure, I can't wait to do all sorts of events, like endurance events, triathlons, off-road triathlons, on-road triathlons, destinations. I mean, there's some really cool thing about endurance sports. It's like every weekend, wherever you look in the planet, there's probably going to be a cool event somewhere, you know. I also need to enjoy the journey, you know, so I can't change everything around despite everything apparently, you know, moving in a more scientific direction. I'm kind of, enjoying the journey, and I think that's what normally gets the best results.
I don't know if you're the same, I feel like I'm only as confident as my last training session.
But that's also because it's meaningful. It's only a good thing, but it can be tough to live that life.